This is a paid advertisement for BetterHelp. Look, summer's here. And I suppose my only problem with the summer is there seems to be an air of, because the weather's good and the evenings are longer, that we should all permanently be in a good mood. I certainly struggle with that pressure, okay? It can actually amplify my feelings of isolation whenever it seems like everybody else is in good form, but I'm actually not. If you feel like you're just surviving the sunshine, building in time for yourself is vital. Therapy helps you set boundaries, like saying no to that third barbecue you don't want to go to. BetterHelp is a leader in this. They've served over 6 million people globally and have a 4.9 out of 5 average rating for live sessions. You don't have to say yes to everything this summer. Find support and therapy. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/roast. That's betterhelp.com/roast. Welcome back to Sauce on the Side. For those that like more than a mouthful, we're trying it.
I like it.
I think it's okay.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Okay.
We're nearly there.
We're
Any
making
other
progress.
any other suggestions, let us know. Let's cut straight to the chase here. Insane reaction to yesterday's show.
I think understandably.
I'm currently dealing with some messages from people saying they had similar experiences, but a couple of things when it comes to something like this. A, I need to verify that their grievances are legitimate. Some people were asking me to disclose the screenshots that Orla has had. I can't do that for a number of reasons because that would require revealing her identity. I need to figure out how... What I could do is I could ask Orla's permission to see if she's comfortable being put in touch with other people, and then I could perhaps give Orla their details.
Yeah. It's complicated.
It is complicated.
We're dealing with a lot of sensitive information here.
A lot of sensitive information and a lot of insanity. Like, my wife's leading concern is that this is clearly going to get Roisin on us. You know, she's going to start... Hello. Brilliant. Goodbye.
You have dishonoured my family.
Goodbye. You're not coming here for any cuddle with my boy. You're not cuddling any of our boys, Roisin.
No.
Okay, so bring people up to speed. If you haven't heard part 1, you need to go back and listen to part 1 of Mary Sloppins yesterday.
Yes.
Okay? It's very good to be here. If you enjoy the show, click follow, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Apple Podcasts, Google. Do people listen to podcasts on Google still? Some people do.
Some people do.
Spotify, whatever works.
Yeah.
We've just gotten a voice note.
Oh.
Okay, so here we are, Michael. Orla has received the most...
I've never seen you speechless before.
It's as offensive to the ears as the music in JD Sports.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? I think that's a perfect analogy.
So incredible.
Genuine in Guantanamo. JD Sports is Guantanamo for the eardrums.
Yeah.
If you want a sign that you're too old, it's when you actually can't walk into JD Sports, not because of the smell of some of the patrons, but because but genuinely. Honestly, man, the grown men walking around with their sack stuck to their leg and their lounge pants.
Mark,
wear a pair of trousers. I've given up on it. I'm giving up on Ireland, by the way. Once you reach 35 as a male, you need to still... that's not when you let go and all of a sudden just wear tracksuit bottoms for the rest of your life.
Too far.
COVID destroyed the relationship between Irish men and trousers, and it needs to be discussed. Somebody in the Irish Times wearing a woolly jumper, drinking pints in Cassidy's, should write a think piece about that. You know? Anyway, me going on about the mainstream media again. Oh, God.
This is why they don't like it.
So, Orla has received the Asian accent, rightfully is flabbergasted, and she then follows on. I am going to play you another voice note from Orla now, with the second part of what happened, and then I'm going to play for you the voice note from Roisin, right? Which was then her response to Orla. However, I have to caveat that I absolutely have to, legally, I have to change Roisin's voice, because in that instance, she is being quote unquote Roisin.
Yeah.
So in theory,
Presenting as herself.
Yeah, she is presenting as herself. So I would be running the risk of exposing myself for GDPR if I send this message. I don't think Mrs. Wong is going to be suing us anytime soon. Once
we welcome it.
Mrs. Wong, if you're out there, by all means, get in touch, and you can come into the studio and Kadodaba is good. Kadodaba. Yeah. Okay. Orla, let's go. Part 2. This is Mary Sloppins. Thank you all for listening. It's great to be with you. Let's go.
Okay, yeah, so I received the voice note, which I've sent you, which was supposedly sent from the hospital, and I could tell by the voice that it was clearly herself, putting on an Asian accent, or her best attempt at one, and I could tell it was her voice. Her voice is pretty distinctive, and there's a slight lisp, and I knew it was her. So needless to say, I was absolutely freaked out that somebody was actually willing to go as far as to fake their own references and catfish parents of very small, vulnerable children to try and get hired as a nanny. And I know that people were pretty desperate at the time, maybe still are. I'm not as tuned in now to childcare, but people were pretty desperate, and I don't know that everybody was checking people out as thoroughly as that. So yeah, I was worried that somebody would actually hire her. So I rang my local Garda station, and I spoke to a guard there who agreed it was pretty alarming, but he said there was nothing really that they could do because she hadn't actually broken the law as such. Which is fair enough. They can't do anything, but I wanted to do something about it to kind of raise awareness that all is not always what it seems out there. So I also wanted to know who she was, and report her if I could in some way, and know who what her true identity was. So I told her I was happy to hire her and that I needed to get her set up on payroll and needed her PPS number and her ID and proof of address and stuff, just to try and get something out of her that would identify her. And that's when she sent me the other voice note. So you can hear her speaking as herself in the other voice note, so you can compare that to the one where she's pretending to be as far as I'm concerned, it's clearly the same person. I'll let you draw your own conclusions there. But she sent me a voice note that, again, very long-winded, whereby she was horrified that I was asking her for this personal information, that no employer has ever asked her for that before, which, of course, all employers ask for.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a lot to digest there.
Certainly.
But I think before we get into all of it, I think we should play the voice note from Roisin. Okay. I think people need to, and the devastating thing here is that it's not going to sound as similar to the Asian accent, of course, as it should, because we have had to disguise her voice.
Yes.
But I'm going to play it for you now, just so you know. This is the insane sort of fuss she was kicking up about revealing her address or her PPS number. She just flatly refused, kept repeating herself. I'm actually going to shorten it a bit because it's it's almost incoherent. Like she's getting, you can tell she's getting very angry though that she's been pushed. So I'm going to play that for you. And then something else that I'm going to put out there. If somebody would like to come on board this little series as an investigator, let us know, because I think what somebody should do is, I don't have the time at the minute and you don't have the capacity either, I think somebody should go on a deep dive for us and find out if she's still active.
That'd be amazing.
Because if she is still active, what's your man's name again from MTV? Neve.
Oh, send Neve out.
Neve.
Yeah.
No, we be Neve.
Oh, sorry, yes.
I'd show up to the show. I'm going to show up to her gaff and be like, how are you?
How are you?
What are you doing? She'd be like, could you imagine? She was like, hello, Bob. Come in for cuddle. I'd be like, oh no, I've ruined your life. I'm so sorry. She's like, come in. You can stay for a long time. Oh no. I owe you an apology.
Stop it.
So let's just hope. No, that's definitely not the case.
No.
But if somebody's out there that fancies themselves a little bit of a Poirot or a little bit of a Jay Fletch, get in touch and we'll get you on board the series, because this is just, it's honestly astounding. Okay, let's play the voice note and then we'll come back to you.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm not sensitive about that. That kind of stuff I'm not sensitive about. Like things that are practical. I'm more like, I think I don't know. Anyways, I don't mind being asked for ID. I don't have a driving license because I don't drive. I have a passport. It's out of date, but I have my photo. I wouldn't give my address, like a proof of address, mostly because I've never given it in a job. Like, I've never been asked for proof of address. So yeah, I mean, that's, I don't know what to make of that part. I'm not upset. Like, this isn't something to get upset about. So you're not being like insensitive about asking for that. I just don't agree with the address, like, cause it's not even, like I rent, I don't own my house either. Yeah, I wouldn't really give proof of address. Like I don't think that's for me. On that basis, like, I wouldn't really be able to accept the job just because I wouldn't give proof of address, like give a letter with my address on it. Is it okay if I just get back to you tomorrow? I just want to talk to my family about that, because, I've never really been asked for proof of address. I'm not upset. There's nothing to be worried about, but I wouldn't give proof of address because I've not done it in a job, and I just want to see what my dad kind of says. He's a solicitor, so I want to see, like, is this something I have to do legally? Like, or is it just, I just want to get his advice, and I'm also just want to get his advice. So can you just give me like till tomorrow evening? You can keep your head up, that's no problem if you want. And then, I just want to see what my family says. I just need advice from like elsewhere. Sorry. So look, I'm happy to take it, but I wouldn't give proof of address, at all. Like something with that just, I've never been asked that either on a job. So I think the best thing to do is maybe, just give me like till tomorrow evening. If that's okay, you can keep your head up. That's no problem. You can keep interviewing if you want. Thanks.
This is a paid advertisement for BetterHelp. If you've read my book or if you listen to the podcast regularly, you'll know that I'm a huge advocate for therapy. If you haven't read my book yet, I can essentially summarise it in one sentence. Learn how to ask for help before things get too bad. I used to worry that my problems didn't qualify for therapy, or I had to reach a certain stage before I could actually ask for help. The reality is, though, everybody has their own version of a big problem and a small problem. And to be honest, I actually believe that all of us could do with some help along the way. BetterHelp makes it easy to find that support. They have over 30,000 therapists worldwide who follow a strict code of conduct and are fully qualified. You don't have to say yes to everything this summer. Find support and therapy. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/roast. That's betterhelp.com/roast.
Okay, so it's completely insane. Yes. She's completely scrambling. I don't understand how defensive she is. Mm-hmm. The way she's like, I don't mind giving my things. Like, what do you mean you don't mind? Why are you like...
It's not even up for debate.
Prospective employer like that. Like, I don't mind you asking me for this.
Yeah.
But, what do you mean, but? Like, this is the weirdest footing to establish a relationship on. And then she's like, oh, you can keep your ad up if you want. It's like, again, why are you You're not buying 4 PlayStation 3s out of the back of a boot in Kildare of a random, rainy November.
Yeah.
And you're getting into an argument because you're fighting over which Circle K to pull over in. This is literally like,
my children.
Keep the ad up if you want, you fucking no time wasters. No, but this isn't, you're not buying an unused treadmill, genuine. Can you imagine? Or the amount of like ice baths that'll be up for sale in around 18 months.
They're straight to the
used
bin.
once. Nevertheless,
Yeah.
you know, you're talking to your prospective employer here. Her tone is bananas. The flat out refusal to disclose your address, your home address, is completely bizarre. If her circumstances were very unique, you know, maybe she was in temporary accommodation or something, that's fine. That could be discussed. But unfortunately, like, she should probably disclose that to a potential employer.
Totally.
And I think as well, you have to say that the benefit of the doubt is not really given post Mrs. Wong.
No.
No, like once Mrs. Wong came on the scene, it's hard to believe she's right.
If you establish credibility in every other sense, and
You
you're
know,
like, look,
you have to know the difference between right and Mrs. Wong. And I do think that once Mrs. Wong came on the scene in the maternity ward, that's when she completely loses my trust. Okay. Now, I think we need to go back to Orla's message. I uncorked, if you'll allow the geographical pun, given the location of the fictional family move. This uncorks a huge, bigger thing, wherein it comes to verification processes in these childcare websites and messaging groups. I think Facebook is just lawless in general. Everybody should be aware of that, and I think it's a sort of caveat emptor type scenario wherein if you are soliciting goods and services from people on Facebook groups, like, you have to be aware that there's a strong likelihood in yourself being duped.
Completely.
And it's really, really difficult to, you know, get your money back and or, you know, prosecute or go after people, because yes, Facebook is still totally unregulated.
Yeah.
Anybody can just set up an account and say they're X, Y, or Z. As we're learning from Roisin, she's clearly setting up multiple accounts and pretending to be these various referees and all the rest. In terms of entering a dispute with the company, I mean, I agree with Orla that in an ideal world, I think that if you're offering your services as a childcare, in any real capacity, to be honest, that you just scan a photo of your passport. I don't think that's too much of an ask.
I agree. It's pretty standardized, I'd say, now as well, with those like verifications. Like,
Yeah.
there's apps that can do it, and it's all protected. It's all encrypted.
Yeah, so I'm not sure that is too much of an ask, particularly given the sensitive nature of childcare. And I think so. Yeah, so I don't really know. I'm terrified at the prospect of this person still being out there. I'm also like, I don't know if it's considered entrapment, but I would almost like to sort of. Is this definitely getting into trouble, Larry? If I was to pay somebody to pretend to be to impersonate a family in need in order to maybe meet this person, and then just like be like, "What's the story?" and then just play the Asian accent out of an iPhone speaker and be like, "That's you. We know it's you. Which it's blatantly you." Also, stop cuddling the boys, please.
Stop it.
Do you know what I mean?
I don't think it's entrapment.
I'd like to see more of. It's a reminder that. Unfortunately, and I know that there's probably going to be some pushback from people saying things like, oh, well, you know, you never know what's going on in this person's life and stuff. And that's true. But at the end of the day, the primary concern here is the well-being of people's children. Completely. And if you are engaging in people in an attempt to gain employment, right? But with that employment including access to children, I think you are opening yourself up to the scrutiny that this podcast may bring. I just think that it's scary. The Asian accent's still the greatest thing I've ever heard in my life. If you've any questions or steers on what to do next, let me know. I just need to be careful. We need to be careful again. We're like, we can't run away with it. And
well, look, I think this is perfect in our world. It is obviously a serious situation, but like, it is just centered around the most hilarious.
Yes.
Like, and that is what our focus is. Obviously, that scenario.
I'm not encouraging a witch hunt, and that's why we're withholding her name, because it's just not something that anybody needs. And we also don't want to interrupt the flow of people actually trying to secure childcare, which of course is a huge problem. So there you go. That's all I have for the moment. I feel like we're not done yet, but I just wish I could play the original voice note without a voice changer. So
no, look, take it from us. There is enough correlation.
You have to believe me, it's the same person. It's 100 million% the same person. I'm happy to pay for a lawyer to independently verify, by the way. It is definitely the same person. Or if anybody out there works in like phonetics or audio or speech and language therapist, there you go. Let's get us. Is there any speech and language therapist following us who could verify that this is the same person?
Yeah.
There you go. On to the next one. I hope that this has more in it, and it's not like the Portugal Airbnb thing where we try and send someone to ride someone and we get in trouble.
You never talked about that.
Yeah, well, obviously I wasn't allowed. Megan gets pulled into an office. Right, well, this needs to stop. This needs to immediately stop. I don't know how the boundaries of your ego must have some limitations, because sending people to the continent to ride people is not what you're being paid for.
This is art. So, it's not art, Mark.
Well, nevertheless, guys, thank you so much for listening. We look forward to chatting to you very soon. Yeah, I need to figure this. This is moving very quickly, so I need to figure out more before we release more. And there are lots of screenshots that we could potentially publish. I could probably publish those with the names redacted. Leave it with me. There's so many things I need to figure out as to what we're allowed and not allowed to do. So
this is it's dicey. We do need to be careful.
Yeah. Okay. Have a great weekend. Enjoy yourself. If you're at Electric Picnic and you're in a hole in a tent right now, best of luck. You will get through it. To everybody else, enjoy yourselves. Thank you for joining us. It's the greatest job in the world. I'm so grateful to have you as listeners. Thank you very much. If you could do me a huge favour, send an episode to a friend. That's the greatest way for us to grow. Thank you. Much love. All the best. Speak soon. Last but not least, guys, of course, if you have not listened to the Amanda Knox interview yet, I would consider it. I'm sure many of you saw the documentary on Netflix in 2014, which was a just incredible injustice to her integrity and her character, and it helped form a global opinion about Amanda Knox, which is not correct. And as a result, she is just the most tremendous individual ever, in the fact that she's managed to continuously live a remarkable life regardless of the adversity she's faced. That all sounds like gibberish in support of Amanda. I need you to listen to the interview. She's a mind-blowing individual. We released it last week. If you scroll down the feed, you'll see it. Also, if you haven't heard Jodie Riley's story, it's just the last couple of weeks, I've never known anything like it. The podcast, I know, has taken quite the turn for the serious. We're not forgetting our loyal listeners and our Willy Willy Bum Bum sections. Don't you worry. That will be back. And Wednesday's episode on creche chaos was just complete chaos. Fathers kicking hamsters, all of the rest in creches across Ireland. But some of these stories are just too important for us to ignore. So I hope you're enjoying the somewhat direction shift. It's always been part of the long game. I mean, there is a 10 and 15 year plan here. I'm not sure if it always comes across like that, but there is one. And now is time to start drip feeding some of the changes. Anyway, my daughter has a cold, and I've contracted it from her.
Poor thing.
So, yeah, once she... No, I was going to make a joke and say...
Don't.
Once the sniffles go, we'll let her back inside. Brilliant. Guys.
She's in the shed.
Excuse me?
Oh.
Good. This is a paid advertisement for BetterHelp. If you've read my book or if you listen to the podcast regularly, you'll know that I'm a huge advocate for therapy. If you haven't read my book yet, I can essentially summarise it in one sentence. Learn how to ask for help before things get too bad. I used to worry that my problems didn't qualify for therapy, or I had to reach a certain stage before I could actually ask for help. The reality is, though, everybody has their own version of a big problem and a small problem. And to be honest, I actually believe that all of us could do with some help along the way. BetterHelp makes it easy to find that support. They have over 30,000 therapists worldwide who follow a strict code of conduct and are fully qualified. You don't have to say yes to everything this summer. Find support and therapy. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/roast. That's betterhelp.com/roast.